Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Manpreet and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. I put new ones out there every Monday and Thursday. Today I'm going to be sharing my tips on how to have a successful relationship. I'm just sharing what works for us, and we are constantly growing and we're learning so many new things, so I just wanted to put something out there. It'll be really nice for us to look back at it in a few years as well. For anyone who doesn't know, I got married 2 years ago, so in April 2018, and we've been traveling and moving around the world in so many different places, so we've been through quite a lot already in these 2 years, and I feel really proud of how far we've come and all of the things that we've learned. So I just wanted to share a few of the things that we do to make sure we have a good relationship. So the first thing is communication, and it does sound like a really basic thing that people know they have to do, but there's a lot that goes along with communication. It's really important to communicate consistently, and this means to do it every day if it needs to be done every day, rather than holding on to a lot of things and having a bit of an outburst at the end of the week. For example, if something was to happen today, it's important to communicate how you feel about it at that time or as soon as possible, so then you can both work on how to resolve something or just understand each other a lot better, rather than bringing it up next week when that situation no longer exists. So it's really hard to remember what happened and how you were feeling, so it's better to just kind of nip it in the bud when it happens on the day and communicate that. Along with communicating consistently, it's really important to be open-minded and accepting of what the other person is saying. If you're constantly trying to get things off your chest and they're just being ignored or disregarded, like they're not important, that communication won't continue, and then there's a lot of distance that can be created in a relationship. It can be a really hard thing to do, but it's important to put your ego aside and just listen fully to your partner and accept everything they have to say, and then work on the next steps together. The next thing I'm going to talk about is compromise, and I know this sounds like a really basic thing, and a lot of people give this as advice for a relationship, but it's really important, so that's why I wanted to include it in this video. It can be a really hard thing to do, to compromise all the time and make sure you do the right thing every single day, but it's okay if some days you don't compromise. It's okay if you argue, and it's okay if you have disagreements, but it's about being on that journey together and being able to remind each other that the next day will be better, and the next day will try harder. Remembering that a relationship is not one-sided. One person should not have to compromise more than the other, and recognizing when the other person is compromising and appreciating that compromise and understanding, as well as making sure you are also doing the same. The third thing is to have unconditional love, and by this I mean making sure your love for your partner is completely selfless. So doing something for your partner purely because you love them, not because you want to get something in return or to mention it to them later, like, oh yeah, I did this for you, so now you can do this for me. I personally don't believe that would work, because I think it's a very short term and kind of a materialistic way of thinking, whereas for me, I think a relationship should be much deeper than that, and having selfless love for somebody who is so important in your life should be something that comes easy, so then you can both continue to give selfless love to other people. As I've mentioned before, having selfless love is a huge goal for me, because it really helps overcoming disagreements. When you disagree with someone, you remind yourself of the unconditional selfless love that you have for them. It makes it a lot easier to just accept everything that's going on in the situation. As we all know, love conquers all, so at the end of the day, when you remind yourself of having that pure unconditional love to somebody so important in your life, then it's a lot easier to overcome any disagreement, and then you can again focus on that growth, focus on what you want to have in this relationship, which is a happy and easygoing relationship. So reminding yourself of this love can be really powerful in terms of helping you grow. The next thing is time and space. It's really important to give time and space to your partner, as well as taking it for yourself. As close as you might be and as much as you might love spending time with them, it's really important to have that time away, because at the end of the day, we're two separate people and we have two separate personalities, two separate lives, and two separate interests at times as well. And I think it's really important to just create this balance in your life where you have time alone to have your own reflection on life and the world, and then you can even go back to your relationship and bring some new knowledge or something different or a different perspective, which will also help you both grow. And the next thing is really simple, and it is is to help each other and support each other. Even if you don't fully agree or understand why your partner might want to do something, it's really important to make sure no matter what happens, you're supporting them and you're helping them achieve whatever they want. Like I said, we're two separate people and we have a different understanding of the world, but it's important to make sure that we don't let our own opinions or judgments come in the way of our partner's goals and we're completely supporting them. The next thing is to understand each other, and a really good way to understand your partner is learning their love language. And this is a test that you can do online, and you answer a few questions and it gives you a bit of a summary about what kind of love you want to express and what kind of love you like to receive. You don't have to rely on this test to kind of make this decision, but once you learn how your partner and how you express your love, that's how you can become stronger as a couple. I've been doing this test since I was about 15. My mum introduced it to me. So you don't have to be in a relationship to learn your love language. You can be any age or in any situation. Over time, my love language has actually changed. I think it's really important to learn this about your partner and just about yourself, because in my experience, I watch a lot of movies and I have this subconscious expectation of a relationship, and I used to think that if this wasn't happening in a relationship, it's not a good relationship. And there's a lot of comparison that happens with relationships that you're shown online, and I don't think that's healthy at all, and it's important to kind of step away from that and figure out what your own relationship is and what works for you both. And the next thing is expectations. So I try not to expect too much from the world, because I have been told that the more we expect, the more disappointed we become, and in order to accept everything, I choose to try not to have expectations. However, recently I've learned that it's really important to have healthy expectations. And by this I mean simple things that I expect from our relationship is that I expect my husband to be supportive, I expect both of us to be committed to each other, I expect both of us to have open minds in order to grow in the way that we want to. For example, I sometimes procrastinate, and I do expect my husband to encourage me on those days and help me stay focused. But it's not just that simple. I also expect him to understand what I'm going through and the days that I'm actually procrastinating and the days that I need to be by myself and just doing nothing. So just going back to how I feel like these are healthy expectations that will help our relationship develop, which is ultimately what we both want. The next thing is to let go. Let go of all of the things that bother you, that deep inside you know are not important. So at the beginning of our relationship, I did used to get really annoyed and frustrated at loads of little things that I knew were not worth my energy or worth my frustration, or it just wasn't good for our relationship. So I started to become really aware of all of the good things. I started making a list of all of the things that I love and all of the good things that my husband does for me, and that list is still ongoing. So anytime I feel that small amount of frustration that could lead to a lot of anger, I always remind myself of this list and it helps me let it all go. And the last thing is to make sure that you're not forcing change upon your partner and accepting them as they are, and making sure that you encourage growth and just be that positive reminder for them as well. And that's the end of this video. I hope it gives you a bit of a different perspective on relationships and just gives you a little bit more of an understanding about me and our relationship. I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye.